to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us, right or wrong, and to all those good friends who give you this song.
Well, hello, good friends, and welcome back to The Last Walk, Remember When, with your host, Ron Baumbach. We're going back in time again to the fun times. So get up, get off your easy chair, walk over to your fridge, open up that icebox, reach way in the side door pocket, and find a bottle of Dr. Brown's cream soda. Pour it into that tall glass, pop open those ice cubes from the ice cube tray, throw in a couple of cubes, pour it in so it sizzles and fizzles and tickles your nose, and reach up into the cupboard, get a Clark's bar, sit back in your easy chair, turn on your lava lamp, it's storytelling time, get ready, The Last Walk is back!
Life is too short, we get only one turn. With luck we find beauty, but we sometimes get burned. But if you've had a true friend, or perhaps in love, you've experienced a piece of heaven above.
The year was 1961, a year of a lot of fun. A lot of things happened that year. When I think back to my 12th year on this planet, I recall one thing in particular, the year of Mandel and Maris, going for 61 as they try to beat the old Babe Ruth record of 60 home runs in a year. My hero, Mickey Mantle, almost did it, but he got hurt at the end, like he always did almost every year, and ended with, I believe, 54. And Roger went on, and the last day of the season, or if Tracy Stoward, got number 61.
2 balls, no strikes on Roger Maris. Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow, he did it. 61 to Maris. And look at him fight for that ball out there.
And that's the Scooter calling Rogers' 61st home run, Phil Rizzuto. You may recall that was the year President Kennedy gave his very famous inaugural address.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And we went off on the space race because a guy named Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space, a Russian. Alan Shepard then jumped up there, made the first U.S. space flight. On May 25, 1961, President Kennedy was determined to be the first country to put a man on the moon, which we finally achieved on July 20th, 1969, when Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong, and Edwin Buzz Aldrin Jr. became the first human beings to actually walk on the moon's surface. The Peace Corps was established by President Kennedy that year, and construction of the Berlin Wall began. IBM introduced the golf ball typewriter. Remember that little ball that fit into your typewriter that had all the letters on it? That was the golf ball typewriter. Freedom Writers tested the United States Supreme Court decision, and the first disposable diaper was introduced, Pampers. U.S. Cuban exiles and the CIA mounted unsuccessful attempts to overthrow Fidel Castro, known as the famous Bay of Pigs, and the UN General Assembly condemned apartheid.
Life is too short, we get only one turn. With luck we find beauty, but we sometimes get burned. But if you've had a true friend, or perhaps in love, you've experienced a piece of heaven above.
Now, while the inflation rate in the USA was only 1.07%, in the UK it was 2.9%, an obvious global disparity. The average cost for a new house in America, $12,500. You can't get a room at the inn for that much anymore. The average income per year, $5,315 per year. But the cost of gasoline was a mere 27 cents a gallon, and the average cost of a new car, $2,850. Probably a down payment nowadays. And when you have bacon and eggs, well, a pound of bacon, 67 cents, and a dozen eggs, 30 cents. Such a deal. The famous Berlin Wall. In 1957, on December 11th, East Germany introduced a new passport law, reducing the number of refugees allowing to leave East Germany. In 1961, 20% of the entire East German population left and defected for West Germany, including a high percentage of engineers, technicians, physicians, teachers, lawyers, and skilled workers. In August 1961, August 13th, the German Democratic Republic, GDR, East Germany, closed the border with West Germany and started to install barbed wire entanglements and fences. On August 17th, the first concrete elements and large blocks were put in place to create what we called the Berlin Wall. From 61 to 75, the concrete wall became 87 miles long, separating East and West Germany. There were 9 border crossings, with the most famous one being Checkpoint Charlie, at the corner of Friedrichstraße and Zimmerstraße, which was restricted to Allied personnel and foreigners. And finally, in 1989, on October 3rd, the famous saying from Ronald Reagan,
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And it opened up for the first time in years. What are your memories of that time? It was a great year, 1961, but also a tumultuous year, with a lot of concerns over global issues, especially the Cuban crisis, which was appearing to lead us to World War. I remember as a young child being petrified and worried about getting bombed and blown up because of the Cold War. I didn't understand what the Cold War meant. All I know is my dad built a bomb shelter in our basement. We thought it was a bomb shelter. He stacked food, canned food, drinks, all different kind of requirements that we were told to have in the basement. And he told us that we'd be safe down there for a number of days in case a bomb came. I remember going to school, having drills in classrooms about possible air raids and bomb scares that could have happened in case we were hit by something from overseas. It was a frightening time, the early 60s, late 50s, wondering if we would indeed be under attack. Ironically enough, in 1961, the USA had our first direct military involvement in a place called Vietnam. Globally, there was a major flood in Somalia, with 2 main rivers overflowing their banks, and hundreds and thousands of people were left homeless. In Romania, the Orient Express, the famous Orient Express from Paris to Bucharest, had its last trip.
Oh, I've been so lucky and I've been so blessed. In spite of my failings, I've found success. For I've known love and I've known good times, and I have known friendship and written some rhymes.
Now on the big screen in Hollywood, people are watching and singing a song, Maria, from West Side Story, the top producing revenue, $43 million in sales that year. Number 2, The Guns of Navarone. Number 3 was El Cid. Number 4 was one of my personal favorites, Fred MacMurray and the Absent-Minded Professor. Number 5, The Parent Trap. That was a good movie. Number 6, La Dolce Vita. Number 7, Lover Come Back. I never heard of that one. Number 8, King of Kings. Number 9, 101 Dalmatians from Disney. And number 10, Splendor in the Grass. Remember those movies? What was your favorite film from 1961? One that stands out for me that's not in the top 10 but in the top 13 was Breakfast at Tiffany's. And the TV shows that you watched back then: number 10, Candid Camera. Number 9, Dr. Kildare. Number 8, The Danny Thomas Show. Number 7, The Andy Griffith Show. Number 6, The Red Skelton Show. Number 5, Perry Mason. Number 4, Hazel. Number 3, Gunsmoke. Number 2, Bonanza. And the number 1 TV show rated from 1961, Wagon Train. We all danced and sang the songs from 1961. A couple of big ones did not make the top 10. Exodus from the movie Exodus. Ferrante and Teicher did their incredible instrumental version of it. Where the Boys Are, Mother-in-Law, Bristol Stomp, and Traveling Man with Ricky Nelson. They didn't make the top 10, but these did. Number 10, Wooden Heart by Joel Dowell. Number 9, Raindrops with Dee Clark. Number 8 was Wheels, the String-Alongs. Number 7, your buddy Chubby Checker with Pony Time. Number 6, My True Story with the Jive 5. And Del Shannon had number 5 with Runaway. Roy Orbison was number 4 with Crying. The Highwaymen had Michael in the number 3 spot. I Fall to Pieces, Patsy Cline, was number 2. And the number 1 song from the Hot Songs of 1961 was Bobby Lewis's version of Tossin' and Turnin'. Now, 1961 was also probably the year where I fell in love with baseball. I was always a fan back then from Mickey Mantle, my hero, as was many kids all over the country. Everyone loved the Mick. Everyone saw him every year in the All-Star Game and in the World Series, because the Yankees always seemed to appear in the World Series. Everyone nationwide saw Mickey Mantle. Number 7. The guy was incredible. Everyone loved the Mick. Now, in 1960, as you probably know, the Yankees lost the World Series to Pittsburgh Pirates when Bill Mazeroski got that amazing home run that put him in the Hall of Fame. It also meant the end of the career, end of the road as a Yankee for Casey Stengel, who had been manager for many, many years. Casey was let go, and they brought in Ralph Houck to be the new manager. Now, Mickey Mantle had been with the Yankees for years, since '51. In 1960, Roger Maris joined the Yankees, becoming Mickey's teammate, when the Kansas City A's, which was always called the Yankees farm team back in the day, we called them that, traded Maris with Kent Hadley and Joe DeMaestri in exchange for Marvelous Marv Throneberry, a future Met, Norm Seaburn, Hank Bauer, and Don Lawson. A lot of us back then were upset with Hank Bauer being traded, and Don Lawson, who threw the perfect game. But we got Roger Maris. Mantle plays center field, and Maris plays right field. Now, during the '60 season, Mantle led the American League with 40 home runs, and Maris had 39. Maris led the American League with 112 RBIs, and he won the MVP with 72% of the vote. Mantle was runner-up with 71% of the vote. In the '61 season,